Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Let me tell you something. For those of you out here who are complaining that Canelo Alvarez is fighting Skull, let me tell you something. I understand being disappointed. I understand wanting to see Canelo fight Benavidez. But when you take a look at what's going on, and as far as the IBF ordering Canelo to fight super middleweight challenger William Skull, you got to understand, what sense would it make for a guy like Canelo, who's not going to be forced to fight David Benavidez, right? What sense does it make for Skull to take step-aside money and Canelo, who's not going to fight Benavidez, fight somebody else and then go into a fight with Terrence Crawford, when what's going to really make that fight between Canelo and Crawford interesting is if Canelo can become a two-time undisputed at 168. Now, we all know that the demand for Canelo to face Benavidez, like, there's no word to describe it. You know, everybody wants to see that fight. But Skull, look, man, he's a Cuban-German pro boxer, man. He's undefeated, 22-0. And he did fight on the undercard of Alvarez and Munguia, and he did the business, okay? Being a Cuban boxer, you can't sleep on him. But I just think people need to just get over it and stop talking about step-aside money. Let me tell you, if Canelo, which most people believe, gets past Crawford, you know, Benavidez is always an option, but I don't know if Canelo would ever fight Benavidez. But I just think they got to, if you're going to get upset, don't get upset about Skull not taking step-aside money. Get upset about the IBF, WBC, WBA, the WBO allowing Canelo to navigate through the ranks and navigate his fights the way he wants and pick and choose his opponents the way he wants. But at the same time, you got to remember, man, you know, Canelo's the big dog. He's the moneymaker. And as long as he's fighting and defending the belts and paying everybody, for the most part, these sanctioning bodies, they go along for the ride. You know what I'm saying? But when I look out and I see a lot of people who registered their disagreements with the fight. You know, they're like, man, after this fight between Canelo and Skull, Canelo is ducking Benavidez and he's ducking better fighters. I'll put it to you this way. Who can Canelo fight outside of Benavidez or somebody outside of 168, right? Who can he fight really? Billy? I mean, he damn near cleared out 168. So, I mean, Billy, then after that, you're outside of 168. So what do you want a guy like Canelo to do? Put some respect on Skull's name. He's undefeated. I think he's going to be a good fight. He's bigger than Canelo. He could sit here, man, and upset the apple cart where we never get the fight between Canelo and Crawford, and now you got Skull and Crawford. Or maybe Skull says, I don't want to fight Crawford. He does a rematch with Canelo, beats him again. Now you got Skull and Benavidez maybe. Like, you really don't know what's going to happen here. So let's not get out in front of ourselves. Let's wait and see how this all plays out. But I just think the step-aside money is a bit much. And remember, there's still some people who feel Benavidez hasn't done enough to earn a Canelo fight. I don't know what more they want a guy like Benavidez to do to get a Canelo fight. It's just like Dillian White trying to get his Deontay Wilder fight. You know, I don't know what, but you know, there's no official statements coming out as far as if Canelo is going to be fighting Benavidez at some point or not. We know there were different names thrown out as possible opponents after Canelo gets past Skull and gets past Crawford. But the bottom line is Canelo Alvarez calls the shots regarding his opponents. Okay, so it is what it is, man. But I would say this for Benavidez. I wonder if Benavidez would even want to cut down to 168 now that he seems to be getting comfortable at 175. But maybe he would, because the calls for Benavidez to fight Canelo, those calls are getting louder and louder and louder. And the louder they get, the more Canelo demands, $200 million for him to fight Benavidez. So maybe if we keep screaming, Canelo finally get that number up to $300 million, and Turki Al-Sheikh will say, okay, Canelo, we'll give you whatever you want. Let's just make the fight. But it sounds like Turki Al-Sheikh, as long as he got Dana White over there on his team, it seems like his mentality is shifting from paying fighters all of this money to trying to focus on the TKO Boxing Group League, and that could mean still paying handsome paydays to a guy like Canelo, who's the face of boxing. But maybe Canelo missed his opportunity for a $200 million payday, $175 million payday. Maybe that's over. Anyway, the 33-year-old Crawford, man, y'all get, 33-year-old, was it Canelo? He just sees a war over Crawford, man, as a huge achievement, man. And I just think there's a big difference in, I want to say, maybe power, but we'll find out on fight night. I just think that fight between Crawford and Canelo is closer than what some people are saying. I don't think it's that massive of a difference as far as where Canelo is and where Crawford is, as far as what they can do in the ring. I think it's a lot closer. But I tell you what, I think Canelo is going to fight Crawford a little bit different than what he's used to doing, because he knows Crawford can counter. He knows Crawford has power. And stylistically, I just think he's going to approach it with a bit more intelligence, man. At this stage in Alvarez's career, I don't think he wants to fight a mover. So he's going to probably come out looking to cut the ring off to try to stabilize Terrence Crawford, because Crawford's going to be moving around that ring. And then if he hurts Canelo, then he'll hold his ground and let his hands go. But other than that, I think Canelo's going to have some Jermell Charlo moments in there with Terrence Crawford. The difference is Crawford, I think, will let his hands go more. And as a result, Canelo may not enjoy the fight. He may get frustrated. He may do something to foul Crawford and hurt him, or Crawford is going to fire back. Something's going to happen in that fight. It's either going to be exciting, someone will get disqualified, or that shit's going to be boring. Anyway, man, y'all keep cool. We'll see what happens. Remember, in 2019, Alvarez was stripped of his IBF middleweight title. I believe at that time they wanted him to fight the mandatory challenger, Derevianchenko, but it just couldn't reach a conclusion, which is unfortunate for Derevianchenko. Anyway, we'll see how the fight plays out. Canelo and Skull, but these talks are step aside money for Skull to allow Canelo to fight Benavidez. That shit doesn't make sense. He needs to fight Skull. He needs to win, and then become undisputed again. And then a fight between him and Benavidez, or him and Crawford, or him and anyone, becomes even more interesting. So hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. Skull did the right thing, even though it would have been cool for him to get a couple million to just move out the way. Like, that would have been great. But, Skull is chasing greatness, and I'm pretty sure he's going to make, 4 million, 5 million or something. I'm sure he's going to make good money. Anyway, in the breeze.